In this video, we're going to cover the Invoice Analysis tool within the Accounting Analysis module here in LoadCall. And basically what this page does is it lets you go in and pull up a purchaser and a date range, and it will automatically run a bunch of in-depth analyses on specific routes or other combinations. So we're going to go ahead and click in here to get started. And we'll go ahead in the next segment, choose a purchaser, and run through the Invoice Analysis tool here. So here in the Invoice Analysis tool, you can see that we have automatically, the last few days. We can kind of spread this out if we want to go back further. So let's say we want to put this out, 1 week back. We can go ahead and do that. And we can choose a purchaser in here. So I'm going to choose Bravo Energy Corps since they have a good data set. And in here, when we do that, what the Invoice Analysis tool will do is it's going to take all of the tickets for this specific range of dates right here, and it's going to aggregate that information and kind of turn it into a little bit more of a manageable way to get an overall view of what's going on with the ability to kind of deep dive in here. One disclaimer down here is that the financial data on this page is not final. If it's a good estimate, but if these haven't been reviewed yet by staff, then there may be some discrepancies in there. Potentially one of these could be quite off if it hasn't been reviewed, but it is a good way to kind of come in here and see how things are going. So after we've loaded it in, you can see we have tabs for routes, pickups, drop-offs, and producers, so the kind of the ways to aggregate it. And within routes, you can see that we have these different routes, and most of them, these look like they're one-offs, but we do have one, this Ironwood Tank Battery to Union Refinery looks like it's a commonly run route for this specific purchaser. And you can see the total dollar values right here, how many barrels have been billed, and then the average price per barrel. So we've only run this load twice, but it looks like it's quite an expensive load for to be run, or at least profitable from a transporter's perspective, expensive otherwise. But this other one, you can see in bulk, it's a little bit cheaper here. But as we kind of scroll over here, we can see invoice errors, and then we can also see the ability to expand details, view tickets, and things like that. So if I click expand details, we get a very large table here. Let's go ahead and do it for this one with a bunch of information. The 35 tickets, you can see how many, like the distances, the total as well as the average. So the standard distance is 595 miles, so 17 miles per load. Loaded miles, reroute if there's any rerouted miles, the total number of barrels transported for this specific route, how much is billed, any of these surcharge sort of things, and etc. And then down here, you can see all of the different tickets. If we click on any of these magnifying glasses, we can open up the actual ticket, and you can see any of the notes put on by a driver. So it looks like there's some driver notes here, and if there's any error messages in there. So this one probably has, fifth in line to offload. I'm guessing it probably has some driver wait time. Maybe not in that case, but you can see the notes in there. So that's the kind of the expanded details. So you get your totals, your average per load, average per billed barrel. So kind of some breakdowns there. In addition to that, you can also pull up the view trends option in here, which it looks like this is a pretty consistent little load right here. The number of the price per, or barrel price per day is pretty steady with that, which is good to see. And you can see the different totals and different values in here, kind of that same chart all over again. So the different breakdowns, but in this case, instead of being the aggregate for that date range, you get it for each single day. So if you want to dive in here, you can see every single day the different breakdowns. Average per load, there's just the one load done that day. This looks like there's a bunch of loads done that day, etc. So pretty useful to be able to see that breakdown. And then if you want to see all of the tickets, then you can go ahead and click on the view tickets, which will pull up just a list of all the tickets with some information on here. And if you scroll over on the side, you get access to a bunch of the surcharges and can open up that ticket window and kind of see any one-off that you want to see there. But generally, that's kind of what all of these pages look like. This aggregates all the routes together. Additionally, I could do the pickup locations, which probably in this case are pretty correlated with the routes. You can see Ironwood right there is the one. Now, in this case, there's only 2 drop-off locations. So you can come in and kind of see based off of drop-off location, look for any information that way. And then producers you can see as well that way, which tends to correlate also. But yeah, basically what the invoice analysis page is for is being able to take all of the ticket data for a specific date range and aggregate it by, looks like there were no tickets for Atlas at the same time, but kind of aggregate it in here and kind of take a deep dive and just look at trends or other information here. It kind of looks like an information overload. There is a ton of information here, but it can be pretty useful if you need to just quickly see, like, go in and not go into Excel and download all these tickets and kind of come up with these pivot tables on your own. This is a great way to have it do it for you. So yeah, so that's the invoice analysis tool within the LoadCall accounting analysis tool suite.